Hey there folks, welcome to another episode of EDC Tactical Gear Review. As always, I'm your host, Mark P. Today we're going to be doing a knife review. We're going to be looking at the Cold Steel Recon 1. This is the 4-inch blade version of the knife. And this is actually my EDC knife. I've been carrying this particular model of the Recon 1 for about 6 months, but I've had more than one version of this knife and the different blade styles over the last 3 or 4 years. So this is just my most recent acquisition of the Recon 1 from Cold Steel. I don't want to give away too much in the review, too early in the review, but I just flat out love this knife. So, from my point of view, this is a seriously badass folding tactical knife. And like I said, I absolutely love it. Cold Steel has produced many different versions and models of the Recon 1 for you guys to choose from. This particular version is the spear point, as you can tell by the blade shape here. But they also sell the Recon 1 in 3 different blade styles from what I can tell, and they come with and without serrations, as well as a different host of different colors like black, olive green, and tan. So now to top it off, besides having your 3 models of clip point, Tonto, and spear point, and then you got your different colors. You've got the blades with and without serrations. They also sell the Recon 1 with blade lengths of 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, and the Jagunda 5.5 inch long blade. So, like I said, they're really they give you a plethora of options as far as colors, blade size, and blade shape to choose from. Like I said, this is the actual spear point version of the knife. One of the features that we'll go over in a little bit is the Triad lock system, which is a great locking mechanism for the knife here that I am very much impressed with. And like I said, there are not very many knives or things in this world that I would say this about, but I would completely trust my life with this knife. So that's how much I am in love with this knife. Now, because of all the different sizes and colors and styles, the prices for the Recon 1 can range between $70 and over $100. Those are Amazon Prime prices, so depending on the particular version, the make, the model, the color, and all that stuff, your price may vary somewhat from the price range that I've given here. Cold Steel does make these knives in Taiwan, just as an FYI. Let's get the tech specs away with right now, so we can get that stuff out into the open, and then get into the really good stuff, talking about the sharp and pointy. As I mentioned, this is a spear point blade design. The blade is 4 inches long, and it has an actual cutting edge of 3.85 inches overall from the tip to right there. The overall length of the knife opened is 9.5 inches long. It weighs 5.3 ounces, and according to the Cold Steel website, this weighs in at 5 and I'm sorry, the handle. I'm sorry. Let me back up here for a second. The weight is 5.3 ounces, and the handle length is 5 3/8 inches long. I think I've mentioned this before, but I do have large hands. I wear extra large size gloves, so a lot of times smaller knives, my pinky is falling off, or there's just isn't enough real estate for it. But as you can see, there is plenty of space, after my pinky, on this knife. So this is a big knife, folks. This is not a small knife. This is the Crocodile Dundee. That's not a knife. This is a knife. So, like I said, this is this is a big knife. It's going to be in your pocket. You feel it. It's there. The blade itself is made from fantastic steel. It's a Carpenter CTS XHP steel, and they have added a DLC coating onto the blade. We'll talk more about that DLC coating a little bit later on. From my looking into Carpenter steel online, this is a tough steel. And it's a excellent choice for a tactical spear point blade because of the strength of the steel overall, and the fact that spear points are really meant for stabbing and poking. This has a fantastically strong tip. It's probably not going to be breaking on you anytime soon. I've seen lots of videos online of people doing things that would break lots of other knives, but the Cold Steel Recon one just kept on going. The and I'm not going to pretend here, people, to be an expert on blade steels and densities and on all those things. I have to look stuff up online and figure out what those things mean and interpret them into my actual use of the knife and make and present my thoughts and reactions to things, and as I go here. So you know not being particularly familiar with the steel itself, I had to use my Google foo skills and found out more than just the basics about the steel. The CTS XHP alloy steel that they're using here is an air hardened, high carbon, high chromium, corrosion resistant alloy. It's really considered to be either a high hardness 440C stainless steel or a corrosion resistant D2 tool steel, which are both very very strong steels. So those look like the best and closest comparisons online, as far as comparing the Carpenter steel of the Recon one with other steels that are out there. The properties of this steel allows Cold Steel to get a razor sharp hair on your arm shaving edge onto the Recon 1. I mean, this thing is like a scalpel. I honestly believe that you could do surgery with it if you really had to or needed to. But I don't want to say it's a negative or a drawback per se, but because of the strength and the hardness of the steel, a regular sharpening stone like a Lansky or something like that, it will take you forever to sharpen this steel back to a fine edge. So I would highly recommend a diamond edged or some sort of diamond a sharpening system that has diamond points or diamonds in there to help with the sharpening of this steel here. So now, on top of the great steel, as I mentioned before, they added a what they call a diamond-like carbon coating, which is your DLC coating. And again, I didn't know 100% what that is, and not being an expert in it, I had to look it up. And looking online, it says that this is even though it's a diamond-like carbon coating, it's called DLC. It is a nanocomposite coating that's added to the blade, which imparts to a degree some diamond-like properties to the steel, which actually helps to reduce friction when cutting. So you're going to be able to cut through things, faster, easier, better than you would without the coating on, and probably less effort too. The DLC coating also aids in hardening the steel blade, and with corrosion resistance. So you're getting a fantastically hard steel with an extra coating that helps reduce friction and helps to prevent corrosion to a degree. So for the cost of the knife, they're really putting in qualities that are aiding in the knife and what it can do and just its overall functionality and use. So basically, a lot of knives you see out there, they just put some black paint on the blade to make it look tactical. This is actually a functional and useful thing that they have done to the Recon 1. One of the other things I like about the Recon 1, see if I can get a better close-up here, is the thumb stud. If you can see here, it looks a little bit offset, and that's actually for a reason. That's intentional. If I can get this to focus here, give me 1 second. I don't think it's gonna. Well, it's probably on the other side. There we go. This is basically a screw. Well, I shouldn't say basically. It is a screw. And what you can do is, you can see it's a slotted screw there. You can make the stud. So you can see the screws there. You can make this longer or shorter to help you open the knife. So this right now is out of the box set up for a righty. So as you can see, about 3/4 or 80% or so of the thumb stud is on the left side of the left side of the blade. Pardon my flip there. And only about 20% is on the actual right side. So it really gives you good purchase on the thumb stud to really aggressively flip this thing open, and you can just see it just it's sort of hard to do. Sorry, with the camera here, I'm trying not to bump the camera while I do it, but I like it. I've never seen anyone else do a thumb stud like that that's adjustable. I think it's pretty neat for them to do something like that. Just one more little feature. Sometimes it's the little things that really can help make or break something, and I think that's just one of those little things that helps to give this knife some extra added value. Now, as far as actually opening the knife itself, like I said, there is the thumb stud that you can use, but I like to do that. The old wrist flick just pops open right away, get that nice solid snap, and you know that it's open and it's locked in place. Now, out of the box, the blade was seated properly. Let's see if we can get a good view in there. I'm not sure what the best view is, but it looked pretty straight to me out of the box. Didn't have any problems there. The grind was very even on both sides. There were no wiggles, no squiggles. And again, out of the box, it was I could shave the hair off my arm. I tried, and it worked. You really should never have to sharpen a knife out of the box. So this is just one more thing where it's doing the things that it's supposed to do, and the expectations are that I have for a knife are being met. There is one thing that I have noticed with the knife is I typically do not use the pocket clip as far as clipping this into my pocket. I just sort of just let it sit in my pocket and sort of sit there. And what happens is that lint can build up in here in this pivot point. And what will happen is that the knife will not lock. A big piece of lint will get stuck right in there, and it will prevent this from fully opening and locking in place. So that is something to look out for if you carry it in your pocket. And just since we're looking at the blade again, you can see that it's marked with the name Cold Steel, with the steel type and that it's made in Taiwan. Now, the blade is attached to the handle here. The handle is made out of, I like it, I think it's gorgeous. It's made out of G10. And you can see up here, there's a locking mechanism. This is Cold Steel uses what they call a Triad locking system. You can tell this is not an open handle scale. It's a closed design, and it has to be because of the locking mechanism. This is everything that's all sort of contained in here, and we'll go into that more. As I mentioned before, the handle scale is 5 3/8 of an inch long. You can see that there is, I guess I would call it a diamond pattern on here. It's not crazy aggressive, but it's I find it to be perfectly fine. Other people online have noted that they find it to be a bit aggressive and it hurts their hands. I don't find it to be that way at all, but that's, that's just me. They also put, I don't know what to call it, it's not jimping, but they put these 4 little notches on the top of the handle scale, and your thumb fits right there, and it I don't think it does anything, to be honest with you. Maybe it's to lose weight, but I don't think it aids in keeping your hand from moving around or anything else. It does have a nice deep finger choil. As you know, I really don't buy knives that don't have those because of the nice cuts I have on my fingers from having them slip up and cut myself. So again, nice and deep. You've got individual grooves for your pointer, for your middle, and then your last 2. So they all fit in there very, very nicely. And then, if you can see it, they've actually scalloped a little bit more on the finger cutouts to give you just a little bit extra purchase. And I think that's, again, just a nice extra little touch on the knife. There is a slot or a hole for if you want to put paracord or something else through. And the pocket clip is, where's pocket clip? Pocket clip is ambidextrous, left-right pocket, and tip up, tip down carry. Out of the box, I believe it is right tip down, so I have changed mine to be tip up. That's how I carry my knives if I have the choice from the manufacturer to do so. Let's see what else here. Let's see here. So, okay, let's talk about the Triad lock system. I don't want to go too crazy and too deep into it because we're already almost 20 minutes into the video. But essentially, what it boils down to is that the internal locking mechanisms are all designed to go inward. So as opposed to a lock failure where the blade would swing this way because of the way that the lock is designed, the way that the Triad is designed, it is pushing this way. It's pushing up or pushing away from swinging down towards your fingers. Internally in here, this connects to a bar. You can see the bar raising in here. There's like a square piece that's attached to the bar here that sits into another square cutout on the end of the blade. And it's a very deep cutout, and it's a very deep piece attached to this that really seats and locks the blade and the bar in place together. They put extra space in the rocker area that allows it to fall and seat itself deeper into the notch, and that's what I was talking about in here. So the rocker would be in here, and again, like I said, it's deeper. Both pieces are deeper, so they by adding that, it essentially puts more surface area that would have to fail in order for the lock to completely go, you know, batshit fucking crazy and blow up on you. And again, like I said, they've built the locking mechanism to lock inward, not outward. So that forces the failure away from the fingers. And they've also made designs so that the surface areas are increased so that the wear and tear on the locking mechanism is spread out over a larger area. So that reduces the chance of a failure based on the same point being rubbed over and over and over and over and over again, to the point of where it either cracks, breaks, or is just worn down, and it's lost surface area, and it can no longer perform the function that it's actually supposed to do. So I mean, all those things just add up to a tough fucking lock. I mean, I'm not worried about it. Now, I'm not going to come out here and tell you that when this thing is locked, it's like a fixed blade and you can do all those things that a fixed blade could do. I could probably see myself doing small batoning with this, but I mean, not crazy. But, you know, again, as far as I'm concerned with the knives that I've had, I really think this is probably the best lock system on a knife that I've ever had. Now, as I mentioned before in the beginning, Cold Steel sells multiple versions of the Recon 1 and their sizes. This is a 4-inch blade. As I've mentioned before in other videos, I prefer a larger knife. I would rather have more knife than less knife. But you know, people might be a little bit concerned about the size of the blade, being able to perform smaller or finer tasks. But there's a couple things that actually make that not accurate. The spear point design overall, regardless of who makes the knife or whatever, but spear points are typically very controllable knives in general. The nice deep choil really lets you get in there. You can choke up here, you can choke up here. If you needed to, you know, to do push cuts, you could do something there as well. I mean, I have really yet to find stuff that's been harder to do because of it. I've cut notches and made stakes for tents and for other things, and it's just done what it had to do. It wasn't. I've never had a problem where it was unwieldy and it couldn't do what I needed it to do because I couldn't control the knife and where it went in my hand. Also, the spear point is a great middle ground blade itself, because it can do piercing and slicing pretty equally well. And you know, I've done everyday tasks around the house, like breaking down boxes from Amazon or garbage, you know, cutting cordage, ropes, zip strips, and it just plows through. It cuts nylon, it cuts organic material just as well as it cuts inorganic material, and that's a nice thing to have in a knife. Not have to worry about whether or not it's going to be able to do the job that you want it to do. I'm going to hit pause for 1 second because I have a little bit of a surprise for you, since we were talking about all the different models and versions of the Recon 1. 1 sec. Okay, we're back. So, as I mentioned, the Cold Steel sells this in 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5.5 inches. So, on my keychain, I carry the 2-inch version of the Cold Steel Recon 1, but I carry the Tonto. It's got the same thumb stud that's adjustable. You can see the screw right there. You can see that it is the different steel. They use Oz 8 for this as opposed to the Carpenter steel. Still made in Taiwan. The handle scales are not G10, they're something else. I forget what they are 100%, but it has that same diamond-like pattern. It's got the same Triad lock. It does have the hole for you can put paracord through. It actually came with a metal ring that was actually a piece of shit. I swear to God, it was like like they bent a fucking paperclip into a circle and put it on there. It was pathetic, but you know. So like I said, this is the 2-inch version of the Recon one. So you know, it's one of those knives where I like it enough where I've bought multiple versions of the knife itself. So let's wrap this thing up here because we're hitting 25 minutes. So as far as I'm concerned, as far as the pros and cons of this this knife here, I mean, the spear point itself is a great middle ground knife. It does piercing slicing. It can do tactical tasks as well as everyday tasks perfectly fine. The quality of the steel is top notch. It takes and holds an edge fantastic. You're not going to have to worry about it dulling on you as you use it too quickly. I love the ambidextrous pocket clip, you know, the up-down, tip-up, tip-down, left or right pocket carry. The thumb stud being adjustable is just a nice, neat little extra feature. I like 4-inch blades. I like them big. I'm not overcompensating for anything, I assure you of that, but would rather have more steel than I need than need more steel than I have. That's kind of how I look at it. As far as I'm concerned, it's a very comfortable to use. The grip is fantastic. The handle scales are done very, very well. The sheer variety of blade sizes, styles, and colors, I assure you, there is a Recon one out there for you if you want one. There's no doubt about that. Like I said before, the G10 handle scales, they feel great in my hand. I like the extra little flourishes of the finger cutouts with the actual scalloping that they put in there. I think that's great. The Triad lock system, again, in my opinion, is just the best locking system out there that I've come across. I'm not saying that there aren't others, but in my opinion, I think it's fantastic. And I just think that overall, the design, fit, and finish are top notch. As far as cons go, some people think it's just too big. They either have small hands or smaller hands, and it's just too big for them. And that's, you know, not. I don't think it's an issue because it fits perfectly fine in my hands, but I have large hands, so someone with smaller hands might have a problem using this knife. I've read complaints that people feel that the handle scales are too aggressive and it hurts their hands when they hold it and use the knife. Again, I don't feel that way, but other people have mentioned it in comments online, so I felt obligated to bring that up. I mentioned before that the lint buildup can be a problem as far as it getting in the way and your knife will not open. That can be a dangerous problem, and that could be the point where you get your fingers sliced by the knife because it didn't open all the way and lock up, and it fell back and cut some fingers. You know, and again, I don't know if this is a con necessarily, but you know, because of the steel being so strong, you are going to need the appropriate sharpening system. A regular stone is not going to cut it. You got to have the diamond to get in there and get that nice edge put back on the knife. So that's something extra that you may need to purchase to go along with this knife. So as far as I'm concerned, this puppy gets a 9.5 out of 10. There just isn't much about it that I don't like, and don't think there's really much about it that I would not change. So I'm going to put some more descriptive information about the knife in the comment section. I'll put links to the knife for Amazon in there as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And so this is Mark signing off. Thanks for watching ABC Tactical Gear Review. Have a good one, guys. Bye.